For the past 5+ years, teachers across Central Okanagan Public Schools have been exploring alternate, more timely, and more meaningful ways to communicate student learning to families. Recently, the British Columbia Ministry of Education released a new K-12 student reporting order. This new reporting order provides our district the opportunity to build off our great learning on student reporting and create more alignment and consistency across all of our schools. In this new student reporting order, written learning updates, formerly known as report cards, are provided to families throughout the school year to inform them around student learning progress. These written learning updates include communication of progress in each subject area using the Learning Progress Continuum in K-9, with grades 10 through 12 using letter grades and percent, descriptive feedback on areas of growth and next steps in learning, information on student self-assessment of the core competencies and student goal setting, including where families can learn more about their child's learning in this area, and an update on student attendance. The use of letter grades and percentages is a ministry requirement in grades 10 through 12 on all written learning updates. Along with descriptive feedback, they are used to support learning throughout the school year. Educators triangulate learning evidence from students to assess where they are for a letter grade and a percentage in a given course. Here's an overview of the various letter grades, the percentage ranges for each letter grade, and a description of student performance. An A notes excellent or outstanding performance in relation to learning standards, and ranges from 86 to 100%. A B notes very good performance in relation to learning standards, and ranges from 73% to 85%. A C+ notes good performance in relation to learning standards, and ranges from 67% to 72%. A C notes satisfactory performance in relation to learning standards and ranges from 60% to 66%, and a C- notes minimally acceptable performance in relation to learning standards and ranges from 50% to 59%. Students who are below 50%, or in cases where there is insufficient evidence of student learning to accurately assess their progress in relation to learning standards, can be assigned an IE for insufficient evidence. Teachers and families work together to come up with a plan when potential assessment issues arise related to insufficient evidence of learning. At times, there may be insufficient evidence of learning at the end of the school year. In these cases, teachers, principals, vice principals, and school-based teams work together to determine the best course of action, such as a course withdrawal, course fail, standing granted, etc., with a comment explaining the circumstances for insufficient evidence. Descriptive feedback is a requirement in all written learning updates, as it empowers students to adjust what they are doing to continue developing their knowledge, skills, and understandings. Letter grades and percentages highlight where students are in their performance in relation to learning standards, but descriptive feedback is what truly helps families understand where their children are in their learning, what their next steps are, and how we can work together to best support their children in their continued growth. As a district, we have guiding principles that were co-constructed with teachers and administrators across all schools that we use to guide our approach to descriptive feedback in written learning updates. We believe that quality descriptive feedback highlights areas of growth and next steps in relation to learning standards, shares any helpful strategies and ways to support the student, is concise in that it does not communicate progress on every learning standard, rather provides a few notable strengths and next steps within the various curricular areas, does not simply note what was taught, as written learning updates are about the child and not an overview of the curriculum, and finally, uses family-friendly, strength-based language, as families may vary widely in their familiarity with educational terms and levels of English language proficiency. Let's take a look at an example of descriptive feedback within a written learning update for a student in Science 10, and how it embodies the criteria for quality descriptive feedback. First, we see that this descriptive feedback does not simply note what was taught. Instead, we see strong evidence of this feedback highlighting growth and next steps in relation to learning standards for this specific student. For example, it highlights that the student has grown in their questioning and investigating throughout lab experiments in potential and kinetic energy and energy change during chemical reactions. It also notes a possible next step of focusing on developing their collaboration competency when working with their classmates. Additionally, we see evidence of various strategies and ways to support the student. For example, the feedback notes that the student would benefit from continuing to develop their organizational skills, as their practice work is often rushed and incomplete. Another criteria item that is well represented in this descriptive feedback is that it has lots of family-friendly, strength-based language. For example, the teacher uses more common terminology such as questioning instead of saying, for example, formulating multiple hypotheses. and terms like chemical reactions instead of saying exothermic and endothermic reactions, which are terms that many parents would not be familiar with. And finally, the overall descriptive feedback is concise. It keeps the comments to a few sentences and to the point, and hones in on just a few key areas of growth and next steps for the student. A less is more, family-friendly approach like this helps us in making written learning updates efficient and effective for teachers, parents, and students. In the new ministry student reporting order, all written learning updates include information on student self-assessment of the core competencies and goal setting, including where families can learn more about their child's learning in this area. Process is significantly more important than product when it comes to this requirement. Teachers can support goal setting and self-reflection of the core competencies by explicitly developing the language of the core competencies through authentic experiences and learning opportunities within the various curricular competencies, by providing ongoing support and repeated opportunities for students to set goals and reflect on their learning and progress towards their goals, and by designing reflection opportunities that are integrated across the whole curriculum and not a separate reflection activity that is disconnected from the learning going on in classrooms. Format and process of the self-assessment and goal setting are determined at the school level. Schools are encouraged to develop alignment on how they engage students in self-assessment of the core competencies and goal setting, as it provides consistency and predictability for students, staff, and families. In Central Okanagan Public Schools, our primary purpose of ongoing student reporting is to effectively communicate learning with families to highlight where students are at in their learning, what their next steps are, and how families and teachers can work together to support students in their ongoing learning journeys. To learn more about student reporting and written learning updates, please visit our website at assessment.sd23.bc.ca.